You cannot lead anyone effectively until you learn to direct your own thoughts, choices, and daily actions with intention, discipline, and clarity, because true leadership begins within the quiet decisions you make privately. People admire confidence, but rarely understand it forms slowly through consistent habits, self-respect, and personal accountability, never through shortcuts or luck, which is why inner leadership remains the foundation behind every meaningful external accomplishment. Most individuals search endlessly for motivation while ignoring the simple truth that direction matters more than intensity, and small intentional steps repeated daily eventually create results powerful enough to reshape entire futures permanently. Growth begins the moment you stop blaming circumstances, people, or timing for your progress, and start accepting responsibility for every decision, reaction, and outcome, because responsibility returns power to your hands instantly. Discipline becomes easier when you view it not as punishment but as a promise to your future self, a steady commitment that protects your goals from distractions, insecurity, and emotional impulses. When you understand your emotions without letting them control you, you unlock a quiet strength that remains stable through pressure, criticism, and uncertainty, allowing you to act intentionally instead of reacting impulsively to temporary feelings. Consistency transforms ordinary individuals into high achievers because repeated actions engrave identity, and identity shapes behavior, meaning you eventually become whatever you repeatedly practice, whether helpful or harmful, intentional or careless. Self-leadership means choosing long-term rewards over short-term comfort, recognizing that temporary inconvenience often builds permanent capability, while comfort often creates invisible limits, preventing you from reaching the potential you secretly know exists. You attract better opportunities when you carry yourself with purpose, honesty, and self-respect, because people instinctively trust those who demonstrate control over their decisions, habits, and emotions, instead of drifting without direction or clarity. Leading yourself requires learning to silence excuses gently but firmly, reminding yourself that progress does not require perfection, only persistence, and even imperfect efforts accumulate into remarkable transformations when repeated consistently without quitting. Challenges reveal your maturity, not your weakness, because every setback tests whether you control your mindset or your mindset controls you, and resilient thinking allows you to convert adversity into practical lessons, strengthening your path. Greatness is not built through dramatic breakthroughs, but through simple daily commitments executed faithfully, especially on days when motivation feels absent, because those difficult days strengthen character more than easy successes ever could. Inner leadership teaches you to pause before reacting, analyze before assuming, and respond with intention rather than emotion, which prevents unnecessary conflict and preserves energy for growth, improvement, and meaningful long-term success. Your habits either support your future or quietly sabotage it, and recognizing this truth allows you to replace damaging routines with empowering ones, building a personal system that naturally guides you toward success. When you accept responsibility for your energy, environment, and choices, you stop expecting others to save you, motivate you, or direct you, because you finally recognize your future depends entirely on your own leadership. Success follows those who demonstrate reliability, purpose, and discipline, because consistent actions signal seriousness, and seriousness attracts opportunities, mentors, and partnerships that naturally elevate your progress beyond ordinary expectations. Growth requires courage because self-leadership forces you to admit uncomfortable truths, confront limiting beliefs, and replace old behaviors with intentional practices aligned with your goals, even when the process feels inconvenient or unfamiliar. Your future improves dramatically when you stop negotiating with your excuses and start honoring the commitments you make to yourself, because self-trust increases every time you follow through on even one small promise. Strong character forms when your private actions match your public image, because integrity creates inner peace, and inner peace strengthens decision-making, allowing you to navigate challenges without losing clarity or confidence. Self-leadership helps you recognize which relationships elevate you and which drain you, allowing you to set boundaries respectfully while protecting your focus, energy, and long-term vision from unnecessary emotional noise. Your life changes when intention replaces impulse, because deliberate action creates direction, and direction creates progress, while impulsive behavior keeps you stuck repeating predictable patterns that never lead anywhere meaningful. Clarity grows when you spend time understanding your values, strengths, and priorities, instead of comparing yourself to others, because comparison steals focus, while clarity channels your energy toward personal success instead of distraction. You begin attracting respect when you respect yourself first, demonstrating through actions that your time, goals, and boundaries matter because people treat you according to the standards you consistently uphold without apology. Self-leadership demands that you choose long-term fulfillment over short-term pleasure, because meaningful achievements require patience, vision, and endurance, while temporary distractions offer comfort but rarely contribute anything valuable to your future. Every time you choose discipline over procrastination, you strengthen mental muscles that support your dreams, and these small victories accumulate into massive advantages over time, eventually separating dedicated leaders from passive followers. You gain confidence by doing difficult things, proving to yourself repeatedly that challenges cannot defeat you. And this internal evidence becomes the foundation for unshakable belief in your abilities and potential. Your mindset determines your altitude because thoughts shape decisions. Decisions create habits, and habits sculpt your identity. Meaning, inner leadership always precedes outer success, regardless of background, circumstances, or starting point. Change begins with awareness, grows through responsibility, and solidifies through consistent action, forming a cycle of progress that accelerates once you start trusting the process instead of seeking immediate gratification. When you control your reactions, you protect your peace, and a peaceful mind thinks clearly, solves problems effectively, and makes decisions aligned with long-term success instead of temporary emotional impulses. The moment you stop waiting for perfect timing and begin acting with whatever resources you currently have, your progress multiplies because movement reveals opportunities that standing still keeps hidden. Leading yourself means honoring your priorities even when nobody is watching, because real growth happens privately before the world ever notices publicly, and unseen effort always precedes visible success. When you intentionally choose who you want to become and align your habits accordingly, you take control of your story, proving that identity is shaped by repetition, not by chance or circumstance. Your life strengthens each time you face discomfort willingly, understanding that discomfort is the price of transformation, and avoiding discomfort guarantees stagnation, regret, and missed potential. Self-leadership requires constant refinement because every new stage of life demands upgraded discipline, deeper self-awareness, and stronger emotional control, ensuring you continue evolving instead of remaining stuck in outdated patterns. Your results improve when you stop seeking validation from others and start validating yourself through disciplined action, because confidence grows from proof, not praise, and proof comes from consistent effort. The world begins trusting you when you demonstrate mastery over your decisions and direction, because personal leadership inspires confidence, making others naturally follow your example without needing force or authority.